We've been really inspired by all the colors for the summer markets. Of course, there's hot pinks, bright yellows, and the #1 seller this summer has been chevron. So let's get started. We've picked up some props and we're going to create a fun spring summer wreath. First I picked up a pool noodle. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to whip it around and I'm going to go ahead and try and tape that down, and then I'm going to create my wreath. Okay, so I'm just taking some packing tape. I've held that together and I just take a few strips and pull it around that pool noodle. Now, that should work. That should hold it. And we're going to obviously cover that with some ribbon. I don't suggest you use hot glue because the hot glue could melt that foam, but a little bit of packing tape, duct tape works great. When you first tape it, you may notice it's a little sort of oval, but if you play with it, kind of push it like that, it forms however you like. So if you want it a little more rounded, just work with that noodle, and then it brings it a little bit more over. Okay, so we picked up a few props. I thought this flamingo was a lot of fun. Flamingos seem to be really popular. So we're gonna go ahead and try and put that on there. You know, put a few sunglasses, a bottle, and we'll see if that works. If it doesn't, it's okay. You might wanna pick up some props. If they don't all work, that's fine. I've selected Reliant ribbon. Great colors. I think they all go pretty well with what we have going on. And then we have a new little twist to the mesh. It's the same 21-inch mesh, but this one is going to be burlap. It has a little touch of jute, so it gives it a little bit different look than that regular polyester mesh that we've been using in some of our other videos. So for a change, we're going to go with this 21-inch mesh burlap. I chose a color of ribbon similar to the noodle so that I could go ahead and wrap it around where I put that tape. Now, with the decoration, it may not be necessary, but just in case somebody should spot that little plastic wrap, you might want it to look a little more finished. So I've wrapped that around, and I'm just going to dabble some hot glue and finish it off. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the end. I fold it down, and that finishes it off nicely. So I've placed the hot glue on the ribbon itself so that my noodle doesn't melt away. Okay, so we have that on there. Looks nice and neat, and we'll go ahead and start putting the props on. Here at Reliant Ribbon, we have an array of colors, so it doesn't matter what color noodle you choose. I'm sure we have the right color to match your. Okay, so now I've attached the flamingo with just that same ribbon. We gave him a little bow, so that way we don't want to put the hot glue on the plastic out of fear it might melt. So at the end of the video, I'll run credits, and on those credits, I'll have the number of all the ribbons. So if you're wondering which ribbons I used, no need to worry, they'll be on the credits at the end. We're gonna make a flower with that mesh we talked about at the beginning. It's a little different. Again, it has a touch of jute. So burlap is so popular this season. We're gonna use that, giving that burlap effect. Okay, so I just pulled out a piece. I went ahead and just cut it off the roll. And all you need to do for this is we're going to grab it and just pinch it right in the middle. It's very simple. You just pinch it all the way down, and this is going to create a nice big flower. So once we've pinched all of that together, we'll wire it down, and we're going to make a big flower for our wreath. Okay, so I've gathered up that mesh, I've made a bow, and I did sneak a little piece of yellow shear so that I could tie it onto the noodle and matching the color once again. Now if you don't have the yellow ribbon, it's okay. Just use a little wire and attach it. This seemed to be able to pull a little tighter, but it'll attach with the wire as well. Okay, so now that the flower's attached, I'm going to go ahead and put that aside and start with my ribbon. What I've done is I've cut a couple of strips of ribbon. I chose different styles. You go ahead, cut the strips, and I'm going to make what I call flares. Basically, I just pinch it in the middle, cut a piece of wire, and wire those together. So those will make flares. I'll put a few together and then attach them to the wreath. Once you've done your flares, we're going to go ahead and put a bundle together, and you take a look at your wreath and decide where you want to place them. So we put one at the bottom, sort of cover up where we knotted it. And I think this one we're going to go ahead and put right into the center. So once you've put the flare on, don't forget to always cut at an angle. We want to make sure it's nice and finished. So I've trimmed those up. You just, again, cut at an angle. Okay, so I took our other prop. I just took a plastic water bottle and I've tied it around. I've tightened it onto the top of the water bottle, and I am going to just make a little bow. So you can attach any prop that you see fit for your wreath. Everyone has different preferences, different colors. This one, like I said, is made out of a pool noodle, and with the props we had, we're just attaching them with beautiful Reliant ribbon. Okay, so really anything goes. I went ahead and attached that with the ribbon and made bows. As long as your colors coordinate, look how nice that goes with that chevron. Anything will work. You can have long streamers. It's just fun and flowy and kind of really makes you want to jump into the pool. But let's see what else we have. We might add a little more. Okay, so I found these fun pair of little sunglasses, and I think I might just pop those right there in the center of that flare. And our pool wreath might be just about done. Okay, so we attached those glasses, and I decided just to grab another little piece of chevron to highlight that color, because the chevron really is hot this season. So here you go. We took a noodle and we made a wreath, attached a few props, added some ribbon, and we're ready for that pool decoration.